Let me get this straight. There is not a man born from a woman who can beat Jon Jones in an MMA contest. There are more than one reasons why most of the guys from the GOAT's era have either retired or are doing gimmick boxing fights while Jones continues to sit comfortably at the top of the food chain. And nope, it's not due to Jim Candy. So let's find out why Jon Jones is unbeatable. Physical gifts. In sports, hard work and determination takes you places, but God, nature, or genetics are kinder to certain people, gifting them with superhuman abilities. Jon Jones is one of those guys who is gifted in more ways than one. For example, with superior genes, as Joe Rogan often points out. A physically gifted fighter, Jones has the ability to adapt to changes and challenges. For someone who started his athletic career with American football, MMA was a completely different sport when he started training in 2007, yet he excelled in every department. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches, Jones has some long levers and an incredible 84.5-inch reach, which has helped him keep his foes on the receiving end of his shots for years, without him ever taking much damage in return. Even at heavyweight these days, the former light heavyweight champ's length and reach coupled with some added muscle make him a nightmare for the big boys of the UFC. Now Jones is pretty flexible and agile as well. Since bigger fighters are not known for their movement and quick reactions, Jones has always had a massive advantage over his foes in that area, and he uses it to perfection. The GOAT is very light on his feet, thanks to his Deontay Wilder-like skinny calves, which make it easier for him to stick and move and not get too heavy. But more than anything else, Jones' biggest weapon throughout his career has been his strength, endurance, and especially cardio, which is quintessential for a longer stay at the top. Now, some of you guys might attribute his physical gifts to Jim Candy, which is fair enough, but then again, Jones wasn't the only guy who got popped for steroids, yet he's the only one to stay a champion till now. GOAT-level skill set. While physical attributes are a huge plus for Jones, one can only go so far in MMA without a world-class skill set, and Jones has that. Jones is predominantly a grappler. He started his journey with wrestling and wrestled all the way from high school to going on to become a state champion, and he's better than your average Joe in that department. I mean, who else gave an Olympian like Daniel Cormier a run for his money in wrestling? Throughout his career, Jones has faced tons of world-class wrestlers, like Daniel Cormier and the undefeated and undisputed GOAT of MMA, Chael Sonnen, and he beat both at their own game. The only person who has been able to take Jones down is Alexander Gustafsson.
Jon Jones's face. Gustafsson with the takedown. First time.
But that is because Jones didn't train for the fight, and when he did, the Swedish legend was a walk in the park for him. Now BJJ is another strength of Jones, and his long limbs help him control his foes on the mat and pull off chokes like the scary standing guillotine that he put Lyoto Machida to sleep with. And when it comes to ground and pound, there aren't many better in the game than Johnny Bones. As well as being a world-class wrestler, Jones is an exceptional striker, and he is extremely unpredictable. In recent memory, Jones has been tested by guys like Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes. But at 35 years old, we need to cut the guy some slack, because despite his struggles on the feet as of late, Jones is easily the most innovative and dynamic striker in the game. He doesn't rely on conventional striking techniques and conserves his energy while picking his shots like the ultimate opportunist that he is. At range, Jones is extremely unpredictable with his feints, spinning attacks, and oblique kicks. He can both fight at range and in the clinch, making full use of his length to leverage takedowns and create offensive opportunities. Simply put, Jones has so many different ways of winning a fight. Fight IQ. Fight IQ is what separates gatekeepers from bottom and mid-tier guys and champions from contenders and gatekeepers. By definition, fight IQ is an athlete's ability to make adjustments during a fight in order to exploit the chinks in their foe's armor. In MMA, is there anybody who does it better than Jones? For a start, Jones is a very cunning fighter who watches tons of fight footage pre-fight to figure out the holes in his opponent's game and then exploit them on fight night. Most of his training revolves around improving techniques that would give him an easy path to victory. He is not an entertainer per se. He's not looking to give firefights to us bloodthirsty fight fans. All he cares about is winning, and by any means necessary. Now, if you have followed Jones' career for a long time, you would know that he's a slow starter. Not because he can't overwhelm his opponents with pressure. He can force his way to a quick takedown and finish the job then and there. But that's a risky ask. Instead, Jones usually stays at range, trying to figure out his opponent's moves and download information to process it and navigate the best possible route to victory. The fact that he's so calm under bright lights when making reads on his opponents is a testament to how confident and how sinister he is inside the cage. The most impressive thing about Jones is his ability to learn, adapt, and then dominate his foes. In his first fights with Daniel Cormier and Alexander Gustafsson, Jones was pushed to his absolute limit, but the rematches weren't even close. Jones knew exactly what he had to do, and his timing on the head kick that marked the beginning of the end for DC was a thing of beauty.
A hard time reaching Jon.
And so was his masterful performance against the Swede. Against Ciryl Gane, Jones again used his fight IQ to perfection. Since Gane likes to fight at range while targeting his opponent with leg kicks, Jones stayed close to him, anticipating leg kicks, and he managed to catch a couple of them. However, he couldn't secure a takedown. Knowing that if pressed, Gane often jumps forward with a straight left, Jones continued to walk him down while throwing feints to bait him into making a mistake. When Jones got too close, Gane threw a straight left, but the American saw it coming from a mile, ducked under, and secured a takedown that ultimately led to a submission victory. Jones was a step ahead throughout. Ability to deal with adversity. Despite his success inside the cage, life hasn't been rainbows and butterflies for the most controversial personality in MMA. From positive drug tests to legal troubles, Jon Jones' life outside of fighting has hardly been inspiring. If anything, he's often regarded as the sport's biggest villain, especially because of his ability to let nothing get in his way. So many fighters have had troubles outside of the cage, and they haven't been able to recover from them. But Jones is built different. In 2015, Jones had a major fall from grace when he was involved in a hit-and-run case and was stripped of his light heavyweight title following the incident. He comes back and wins the interim title 15 months later, only to be suspended again for a failed drug test days before his fight against Daniel Cormier at UFC 200. Jones returns after another 15-month suspension and stops Daniel Cormier in the third round to win the light heavyweight title at UFC 214. Days later, he fails another drug test, is stripped of his title, and his win over Cormier gets overturned. He returns almost 2 years later and defeats Alexander Gustafsson to win the vacant light heavyweight title. From 2015 to 2018, Jones went through hell, and he only has himself to blame for it. Yet he bounced back with the same amount of confidence and valor every single time he stepped inside the octagon. At times, he looked better than his previous version because he had a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to prove to the world how great he was, and his competitiveness and his ability to take on challenges continue to set him apart from the rest of his peers. Even inside the cage, Jones knows how to deal with adversity and turn fights on their head. In his most recent fights at light heavyweight, Jones was pushed to the limit by Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos. The GOAT had trouble dealing with the size and strength of his opponent, especially early on, but he still found ways to execute his game plan and make quick adjustments to win. The bottom line is, Jon Jones is simply a freak of nature, a man born to fight and a man who is so good at it that he has made world-class fighters and the OGs of the fight game look like tomato cans. He is the undisputed GOAT of MMA, who will put some daylight between him and the rest of the GOATs if he continues his winning at heavyweight. Is Jon Jones the GOAT? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below.